Live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Linux Cast. We are, well, we shouldn't say we because literally it's not fair to include the other fellows in this proclamation. I'm having technical difficulties this time, and it's all my fault. I'm sure. No, it's definitely all my fault. So in order to make sure that you guys can actually hear us, we're going to go around the horn as we usually do and do an audio check. And it's especially important this time that you guys tell us if someone's low or high, because I don't have the proper OBS settings uh, that I used to have. So I kind of had to make it up on the fly. So this is me talking some words. And if you guys could tell us whether or not I sound good, that'd be great as well. Also, fuck you, phone. Drew, some words, please.
I have pineapple mango buy and not lemonade this time around.
What he's doing is it's gonna get to be a point where he wants a brand deal.
That is accurate.
This portion of the audio check is sponsored by.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, Nate, some words, please.
Let's see, words. I got a cool new hat. We're rocking the Loves Cup today. And, I need to load my notes because,
All right, they're saying that you guys are loud. Drew is loud. Okay, so that probably means that the you guys no, don't fix it on your end. It's going to be all me,
Okay.
Drew. I'm just going to completely remove the gain on your guys' end, and hope that that's good enough. All right, so we're gonna go around again one more time and do some with you guys. So, Drew, your sponsored segment once more, please.
Mango pineapple. Refreshing.
Freshly squeezed from Florida. All right, and Nate, one more time, please.
I got the hat. We got the Loves Cup. And I'm going to reload my notes for the second time.
All right. Can you guys let us know if it sounded better the second time, please?
Golly.
I promise next week will be better. I promise.
Don't say that.
Even if I have to do it from Windows, I will do it. It will be better.
Yikes. The Linux Cast from a Windows PC.
All right. Everyone says it sounds better. That's good. Believe it or not, Drew, would not be the first time it happened.
I know.
Windows.
I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware.
I actually have more Windows in this room right now in terms of installs than I've probably had in 6 years. So this computer, the main computer, has it on another hard drive. The laptop has it. All three of you guys can't really see it off camera, but there's 3 Lenovo ThinkCenters here. All have Windows on them.
Oh my.
None of them are powered on, but they're there. I'm pretty sure one of those ThinkCenters is going to help me install Gentoo on Sunday, so it's going to be fun. All right. Yeah, Tyler's quiet. Thank you, Hibdad. That's funny. Tyler's working. He couldn't make it here tonight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I think I have everything that needs to go. I do have the show notes up. Nate, you need to enter your Nugget of the week when you get a chance, please. And then we'll go ahead and go. All right, I got the mini topic in mind, so I don't have to ask what it is. And I'll try to remember to eat the mic. All right. The Windows Cast over there. Yeah, I know. Windows Weekly. I'm the new Paul Tarrant. You just don't know it. All right. We're going to record just in OBS this week, so you don't have to worry about recording on your end. Hopefully nothing goes horribly wrong because there's no backups this time. All right. And then me, then Nate, then Drew, please. All right. Oh, wait a minute. We probably should go ahead and do the claps just in case. So Drew, go ahead and do the claps. That way,
Okay.
If I need to line something up, I can.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Next time, Matt, don't hit yourself in the head. Just pro tip. That hurt my thumb or my head, which is probably saying something. All right. It has been an extraordinarily long few days, guys. I've been having computer problems. Work has been a pain in the fucking ass. Having fucking knee problems came back. So yeah, I'm gonna try to maintain a a chipper attitude and not rant too much. But also, Nick Wright is a fucking moron. And if you watched First Things First today and you like the Eagles, you know what you're talking about. What I'm talking about. Sorry. Also, brand new camera, doing the exact same thing the old camera did. Nate tells me I just need to move farther back, which he could have told me before I spent $300 on a new camera.
300.
I got the pro version, the 4K version. I figured I might as well future-proof myself. Because, you never know. I might want to do 4K someday. Probably not. Who the fuck wants to see this in 4K? Just all right. All right. Anyways, we're gonna. Arch Penguin says Zany's on open BSTM. I don't think that's the letter. What? Okay. Mightily confused and probably too much information we needed there. All right, so we're gonna go and get started. So me, then Nate, then Drew. Hey everybody, welcome to the Linux Cast. I'm your host Matt.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Drew.
I just want to let you all know that be prepared for Matt not to be on topic, like literally at all. My brain is all over the place. There's gonna be rants. There's gonna be tangents like you've never seen before, I'm sure. And Nate, just be very grateful that you're not editing this week, because the ums are going to be off the charts. It's going to be like every other word. It's going to be like, well, you know what it's going to be like. It's going to be it's going to be bad. I was going to say something probably not good there, but I won't
bring my counter back up and just start clicking.
Yeah, you might want to get two. I'm just saying. both thumbs. Stupid camera. I'm gonna back up just a little. I could probably push the monitor back. Anyways, I'm not gonna worry about it. Who cares? It's not professional. It's never has been. And welcome to Linux Cast. We're gonna talk about Linuxy things tonight, or Linux adjacent things tonight. We're gonna talk actually about YouTube and Linux and making a channel and all the things we do in order to make our channels as awesome as they are. And it should be fun. Hey, you want what? None of us are Mr. Beast. I mean, seriously. So I mean,
we're not giving $5 million away this week. Damn.
If he wants to give $5 million to us, I mean, we're not giving it away. I don't know about you, Drew, but I don't have $5 million to give away.
No,
no,
I'm okay.
So I mean, unless there's something we need to know, in which case, Drew, we could
I'll be sending you a new camera.
Yeah, like we could use a new camera. Nate could probably use a couple more monitors, I'm sure.
Camera.
So no, we're not. So we're in comparison to like that. No, but comparison to other people, we're good. We're great YouTubers, as evidenced by this very highly professional podcast that we do every week. All right. Anyways, before we jump into that nonsense, we're going to talk about our mini topic, which is people who shouldn't use Linux. I'm going to raise my hand and say that I probably shouldn't use Linux, given how the last few days have gone. But I don't remember whose topic this was, so I'll just kind of lead off on it. For me, anybody who doesn't know how to install Linux probably shouldn't use Linux. And that sounds very gatekeepery, and it is. But if you don't have the technical know-how to install it, you probably don't have the technical know-how to do stuff on it. But I will put a provisor on there in that if you have someone who like lives with you or like next door who knows how to do it and can do that stuff for you, then it's probably fine. But that's my overarching answer. It's like if you can't install it, you probably shouldn't use it. What say you guys?
Good, Nate.
I was going to say probably your family, because if you install it for them, you're going to be the constant tech support the entire time. So get ready to lots of phone calls, lots of texts, and trying to figure out every little problem that they run across all the time.
If you think cloud only refers to a fluffy item in the sky, then you probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you believe that the terminal is just a place where the buses stop, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you think open source means the front door is unlocked, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. I've got a few more, but
no, we want to hear them. Absolutely. Jeff Foxworthy has joined the podcast.
If you hear cloud storage and start looking for rain boots, probably shouldn't be using Linux. You call tech support every time your Wi-Fi blinks, probably shouldn't be using Linux. I got like 10 more.
No, I want to hear all of them. Keep going. Seriously, it's good stuff, man. I can't believe you wrote this. That's so true. Awesome, though, man.
If you ever ask where's the start menu on any computer, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you think root is just something plants have, probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you think sudo is a fancy new dance move, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you believe that Control-Alt-Delete is some secret medicine that makes the bad stuff just go away, probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you wonder why Firefox isn't just some super fast animal instead of a web browser, probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you believe the kernel is something that is annoying when getting underneath your dental work, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you think a package manager is a term for a delivery service, probably shouldn't be using Linux. If you think that you use by using one piece of software from of proprietary software from 1995, your workflow, and you can't live without it, you probably shouldn't be using Linux. And finally, if you think permissions are only when you have to ask out to stay out past your curfew, you probably shouldn't be using Linux.
I would like to add one. If you think the desktop is the place where you should store all of your files, you probably shouldn't use Linux.
I got one.
All right, go ahead. We could do this all night. This is great.
If you think your mouse means you have to go get a mouse trap, you should be using a computer, period.
All right. That was the most fun I've ever had in the podcast. I'm just saying, that was great. All right. Anyway, so that sounded very, very gate creepery, and I know that some people are going to say, well, this is the reason why Linux can't be successful is because you Linux nerds decide. Every time I say Linux nerd, by the way, I have to touch that. It's literally in the contract. Because you Linux nerds
you got to rub the penguins too.
Keep the I don't think most people notice that the penguin is there. You know, it's on both sides too. Like, yeah, it's over there. Anyways, I think that people think that the Linux nerds kind of like do this thing like, oh, you know, you're too stupid to use Linux, but really, it's all about your level of effort and expertise, not us, man. We're here to hold your hand, but not that tight. All right. Now that we pissed off all the noobs, let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and move on to the main topic, which is our YouTube channel. So, Drew, I believe that this was your topic.
Honestly, I didn't even remember that, Matt, until I read the notes that you had.
The reason why I don't think it really matters is because I did completely reword it, so it might as well be fine. The way that I put it in the notes, if I can remember, is the making of a YouTube channel, Linux user's perspective. So there are certain like programs that we use that we should talk about, probably things that we use to record, things that we use to edit, things that we use to live stream, stuff like that. So we'll talk about those things. There's probably things that we do in regards to like replying to comments, dealing with spam that you get randomly in your email, because all of a sudden you get 1,000 subscribers, you're the next hot shit, and brands are all over you, and they're not real brands. They're like, here, give us your banking information kind of brands. And then we probably should talk about a few other things as well. So where do you guys want to start? You guys want to talk about the software first?
Sure.
Okay, let's go and talk about the software first. So I think that we'll start with you, Drew, because you do things a little bit differently for sure. So why don't you talk a little bit about the software that you use to make your videos?
Yeah, I only use one. Oh, well, that's actually not true. So, I mean, when I record videos, I guess the whole process is what I need to kind of explain. But like we talked about, was it last week or the week before last when we talked about hardware? Yeah, no, we talked about Suckless last week. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about hardware. And I use an Elgato video capture card. And so when I do that, I'm always using a different computer, and that goes to the recording computer, which is the one I'm using right now. And I use OBS. So OBS is the software that I use to record my videos, but I don't do anything else. I have a microphone, a computer, and the video capture into OBS. So that is the process to actually get it in the can, as they say.
Okay. And, what about you, Nate? I'm assuming you probably use OBS too, right?
Oh yeah, it's the only one that's readily available that's free and pretty decent, and has quite a few plugins if you really want to play around with it.
Yeah. I think I want to take a different track, you guys. I too use OBS, but I have this love-hate relationship with OBS. I think it's because I've been doing this for 6 years. And well, I mean, that's not in YouTube terms, that's not a long time, but it's a long time for me. And there have been times where I legitimately looked at OBS and thought, "Oh, this is the greatest piece of open source software I've ever seen." There've also been times where I've looked at OBS and said, "Wow, that is the biggest flaming piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. Why isn't this working? What is it doing to my camera? Why isn't audio being recorded? Why can't it capture a screen? What is Pipewire?" Like, you know what I mean? Especially there's a transition there. I know Drew still hasn't gone through this transition period yet, but the rest of us have, where they were moving from Pulse Audio to Pipewire, and Pipewire was supposed to be like this replacement for Pulse Audio, but it ended up like, oh, we're also going to make it do video. And OBS was like, okay, and, we're going to do this too. And in order to do that, you had to have a what do you call it? I've lost the term. Basically, you had to have another program outside of it that allowed you to have permission to capture the screen. And it, there was that period where just those things didn't work half of the time, and OBS wouldn't talk to them half of the time because everyone had their own. So I use OBS. I wouldn't use anything else because I mean, I've used simple screen recorders like when I first started out. Like that wasn't too bad when I wasn't on camera. But if you need to do multiple scenes, OBS is like the best thing you can use. It also, if you do it for long enough, will have periods of time where you just want to set your hair on fire because it's like, what are you doing, dude? Like seriously, just why can't you work? Like I asked nothing else for you other than record my face, record my screen, record my audio. This is maybe I'm asking too much. I don't know. So yeah, the OBS is definitely the thing. I'm curious. So Nate, I know you have multiple. I actually searched for your channel because I added both of you guys to my channel's homepage this week, and I searched for your name, and you have like 4 channels. Like
shouldn't.
Like you
should just be one.
Because there's definitely 2 Nate picks. They
really?
use
yeah.
Okay.
There's one that I use for like actually watching videos, and then there's my actual YouTube channel.
And do you have one for gaming?
Used to.
Okay.
Back in the day.
So he has one YouTube channel, but also there's 3 YouTube channels. I'm just saying. I searched and there was a couple of them. Anyways, the reason why I asked is because have you done like live streaming stuff? I don't even know.
Oh yeah. I used to be a Minecraft YouTuber back in the day.
That is it's a piece of information I needed to know. Like seriously, Minecraft?
Oh yeah, I was big into it. Yeah,
do you still play Minecraft? Because I'll tell you what, I've never touched it. I'm curious.
Do I play it? No. I got so burnt out of it because that's all I used to play.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I kind of moved on to better, fancier graphics.
Okay, it went from 8-bit to 16-bit.
Exactly.
The fancy pants. All right, Drew, you have become a live streamer in the last few months.
Yeah, actually, I had one today at 6 o'clock. It was in celebration. By the way, I mean it's May 20th, 2022 was my first video. It is now May 20th for anybody that's watching this later. It's May 20th, 2025. So it's the anniversary of my 3-year anniversary of my first upload to YouTube. And so, yeah, I've been streaming more and more simply because I just think it's fun. Yeah, it's the only thing. That is my one, that is my one kind of like priority in order to do YouTube. Is if I'm not having fun, I just won't do it. It just doesn't make any sense to me to do it that way. So yeah, I mean, it's same process. I just put it in OBS and hit stream, and it's the same thing. The only thing that I don't do that you guys do is, I don't show my face on any of the videos. I just have the screen that I'm working on. So that I guess that kind of eliminates one element from any kind of like failure point, that's what we're talking about. And then, but I also, I record, you guys actually edit the videos, and I don't edit anything. I simply just kind of like pause it so that it's just a snippet that I'm happy with, and then I string them together. And I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I use a command line tool in order to just like one plus one .mkv plus 2.mkv, and then that output, and that is the extent of my editing.
I'm actually kind of jealous of that workflow, because Nate can tell you, Resolve just does not like me. like it does not like that I have an AMD card. It doesn't like that I'm on OpenSUSE. It doesn't like that I'm white. I'm pretty sure it's just all sorts of hates Matt. I've had so many problems. And it's all Nate's fault, by the way. I was maybe not happy, maybe happy isn't the right word, but I was content with Kdenlive. And then he was like, well, I will edit your podcast for you, but I'd really prefer to use DaVinci Resolve. And I'm like, okay, like a dumbass. If I just said, no, I'm sorry, man, we're going to have to use Kdenlive all the time, or you're going to have to render the podcast, I would have been so much happier and richer, because I wouldn't have had to buy I wouldn't have had to buy it. So, I use Resolve, and I love it. I also want to kill myself sometimes. And Nate, that's your what's your experience with video editing?
Mine works.
Screw you.
Okay, so in all fairness, if you're going to use Linux, and I'm specifically saying if you're going to be using video editing software, especially Resolve in particular, do not get an AMD card, because you're going to have to run through some hoops. It's just coding the video. Okay. I'm sorry, it's just going to work.
I really need to rant about this again. So if everyone knows I like OpenSUSE, it's like literally I have a sticker. I really like this distro. I think it's really good. But and this is not just an OpenSUSE problem, but you cannot get AMD Pro drivers on OpenSUSE. It's impossible. And anybody who says they have done it is either a liar or is a wizard of some kind. Like they have magic that I don't possess, because I've tried every guide that exists on the internet to do it. I've asked in the OpenSUSE forums. I've asked on the AMD forums how to do this, and nobody knows. And a few people say like, oh yeah, you can kind of do it, but you have to extract things from the deb package in order to do it. Like, no, I'm not. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. OpenSUSE is a big distro in Europe. Like, it's a big distro. It's not huge here, but OpenSUSE is based on SUSE. You can't tell me that there's no corporation out there ever that uses any AMD cards for something. And I guess if they do, they just don't use SUSE. I mean, that feels like it's just stupid. And it's not even if you can say like, oh, it's because it's an RPM based distro. Red Hat and CentOS and Rocky are RPM based distros, and Rocky Linux is like the distro that Resolve says you should use. So it has all to do with AMD. So it's the dumbest thing ever. Someone created something called DaVinci Box, which is basically DistroBox that installs a Fedora container that then will install your Resolve in it. And it worked for a long time. And then my hard drive failed, and I had to reinstall OpenSUSE. And since then, I've had nothing but problems. I've gone so far as to install Windows on both this computer and on the laptop. That's how desperate I am. Like, the problem with Resolve isn't that it has these problems. The real problem is that once you've used it, you can't go back. Like it is impossible for me to use OpenSUSE or Kdenlive now. It's just, it's horrendously slow. It doesn't do half of the things that Resolve will do. Like if you have a graphic, like my intro that I use for my videos has a level of transparency at the end, so it's basically a stinger, a transition. So it goes away and it reveals my face. That doesn't work in Kdenlive at all. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's the stinger transition problem or if I have to do something different. I don't know. It's so similar. I know I'm going on about this for all, but like, this is the thing. Like, if you're going to be a YouTuber, especially a Linux YouTuber, you're going to have to make these decisions. Like, you can be like Drew and do really simple stuff, right? Or you're going to have to invest yourself into learning this stuff. And I admire Drew for not doing that. I sometimes wish that I had never decided I wanted to put my face on camera and do editing. But also, I can't keep myself from saying the word Like I've tried. I've gotten way better at it. Way better. Like when I first started, it was like it was like I was just every other word. I've gotten better, but still I do all the damn time.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. DistroTube said it's not a great editor though. Kdenlive is a million times better.
He's talking about the PTV or whatever it is that is a GNOME editor, I think.
Okay. I was gonna say, because Resolve is
Resolve.
like,
he was talking about the
leaps and
GNOME
bounds
editor.
above.
Yeah, if I know DT at all, he's never touched Resolve with a 10-foot pole. It's proprietary garbage.
Probably not.
So, and that's pretty fine. There's nothing wrong with Kdenlive, really. I mean, the fact that it's open source, it's not corporate backed, so there's like a huge corporation. It's very impressive that it exists and is as good as it is. Like, it's very impressive. And like I said, if it wasn't for Nate, I would still be using it happily. Yeah, I can't go back to it because I'm so into the Resolve workflow now. I have all my key bindings and they're hard to replicate in Kdenlive. Half of the transitions don't work. Color corrections not anywhere close to being the same. Being able to, you can edit audio right inside of Resolve. You can't do that in Kdenlive. There's just so much more you can do, and it's just, it's just, I make a fucking flat pack. Why can't you make a flat pack? Just do it, okay? It wouldn't solve the AMD problems really, but it would make it a hell of a lot easier to install. Like, just
Actually, it would, because they could just package it right into the flat pack of what they need.
Well, they could, but they probably, because of the proprietary nature of it. I mean, they don't even package half the codecs unless you buy the studio version of it, right? So, but I would pay another $300 or more for a flat pack. Like it's how I mean, I'd only do it once. I'm not going to subscribe to the damn thing, but I would pay significant amounts of money for a flat pack that I could keep and would stay updated. That's how, like, installing this piece of software. I have had, I know I'm rambling here, but the amount of pain and suffering I've had to go through in order to get this program to work on Linux just a little bit for small periods of time is insane. I mean, I've installed Gentoo before. I've attempted Linux from scratch. I've daily driven like Debian and like every distro you can think of, Slackware. I've used it, maybe not extensively, but I've used it and can say that I can legitimately do those things. Resolve has stumped me time and time again, and there are people in the chat like, why don't you just stop using it? I can't stop using it. It's like fucking cocaine, man. You can't get away from it.
Okay. Well, I don't think they realize too, like in Kdenlive, and the bug's still there. Like if you have multiple audio clips that you're putting together, you have to like literally mute the very ends and sometimes even the fronts of that audio clip, because otherwise it will do a loud
squeak,
like pop. Yeah. And in Resolve, you literally just slap it together, and then you can like go in there and say voice isolation. Okay. Put it at 85%. It literally takes everything else out and just your voice comes through. That's just awesome.
Yeah, that whole squeaking when after a cut is the reason why I wanted to try something different. I mean, like legitimately. That's why I was looking for another open source option. An excellent chef in the chat asked, "Are there any suggestions for video editor on Linux?" Kdenlive is the suggestion. Anybody who says anything else, it doesn't. I mean, Resolve is an option if you are a legitimate, like you want to make this a thing that you do, right? Like I would not recommend this to Drew. I mean, like you don't need it, Drew. I mean, there'd be no reason for you to do it, right? I mean, even Kdenlive is too much power for you. Like you just do the thing you need to do.
Not only that, I tried it a couple times and I just like you know how me and Qt based applications are not friends. That's just a fact.
There's just there's too much stuff going on, right? There's just too many buttons. Yeah. So I mean, I would not recommend Resolve to anyone else who's not going to put a lot of time and effort into it, and also who doesn't know. Like, if you don't know a lot about Linux and you use certain distros and you have an NVIDIA card, like there are things that you have to check off in order for me to recommend Resolve to you. Nate, you're probably the same, right? Like you wouldn't recommend that to, like, your mom wants to become a video editor. You're not recommending Resolve to her, nope. Right? So Kdenlive is the answer for you, Executive Chef.
Backup would be Shotcut.
I've never had any luck with any of the others. Like they're all like okay. Like there's tons of other ones, and everyone tells me like, oh, like Olive is the future. Like that thing has been alpha for my entire life. You know, I mean, I'm 40 years old. You know,
really is.
I mean, there's a good chance that Cosmic Desktop will come out before that comes out. Matter of fact, I would guarantee it. That Cosmic will come out before Olive comes out of alpha. Okay?
It comes out in 2026, man. They have a release date,
and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just literally one dude, but it's impressive that there's one dude working on a video editor, and it's as good as it is. But it's never going to be something that you can use as a daily driver. And then there's that one guy like, oh yeah, I use Blender to edit my videos. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? All right. So the last piece of software I have to talk about is Audacity. Do either guys use Audacity other than for the podcast?
I don't.
I use Reaper for other things.
Okay. What is,
like,
I've never actually used it.
Recording voice.
What, I've never actually used it before. What is it like?
It's a lot more complex than Audacity, but I like it because I can do multiple different I can actually do multiple audio streams, so I can edit 2 different lines at the same time. If I'm playing music behind it, I can also include that. Like I can split it out in multiple tracks and edit each one and then do a master compile together.
Soup to Go asked, didn't Blender try to be a game engine at this point? Man, Blender is like the Emacs of graphical applications. It does literally everything. So probably. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so that's basically for my workflow. I use OBS and Audacity to record, Resolve to edit. But there are some like background things that I have to use in order to actually facilitate that, especially nowadays that I can't edit all on the same computer. I have an NFS share that shares one of the SSDs in this computer to the rest of my network. And then I use, and I'm gonna hate myself for saying this, but WSL is a life-changing thing that Microsoft invented. Like, it makes Windows usable. Did you know that you couldn't mount an NFS share before, like, easily? With WSL, it's like 2 commands in Ubuntu, and it like mounts it, and then Windows has access to it. You can even set up AutoFS, so it'll auto mount, and it's just a systemd service in the background running in Ubuntu, and it just loads it every time you launch the Ubuntu as an administrator. It's just like, it's so good. Like, I hate to say anything good about Microsoft, but if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be like, in fact, Nate knows this. I messaged him and said, I'm sorry, Nate, we're going to have to go back to Kdenlive. I can't do it. I can't get this to work. And I was like, I don't want to install Windows, but I'm going to try it, but I don't expect it to work because all my drives are like EFT4, and on this computer here, that means having to figure out how to mount EFT4 on Windows, which doesn't support it. And then I decided, once I got the WSL thing to work, I decided the laptop, but still. So the background technologies are almost just as interesting. So Let me ask. Let's. I kind of did this completely out of order. Let's zoom out just a little bit. And ask this question: what made you start your YouTube channel? Like, what was the thing that said, you know what, I'm gonna be a Linux YouTuber? Or if you ever said that, or maybe you said something, you know, much less ambitious. Drew, I'll start off with you again.
I don't even remember. Frankly, it's one of those things where you're like, let me try that. You know what? Let me. It's like I really like this, and I believe that the first video I did was actually on i3, and I wanted to do something. It was like, oh man, i3 is cool. Let me try putting a video out there about i3, and so I was just like, it was kind of just a mental exercise more than anything else. How do I do this? Because I don't know how to put a video on the internet. Where do I start? And so it was a learning mental exercise, and I thought it would be fun. And that's what I mean. I had no preconception about like views or subscriber. I was going from literally zero to where, I didn't know anything. And so I'm having to ask my son, who was a teenager at the time. Yeah, he was a teenager at the time. And I'm like, how does this work? I mean, I've watched YouTube videos, plenty of yours, Matt, plenty of, a lot of the other YouTubers out there. I didn't want to be just like everybody else. I wanted to be kind of like, because at the time, I don't know if at that time, Matt, a lot of the YouTubers were simply distro hopping, and they were going from one distro to another distro. And it was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I know that for a fact. I mean, I'm going to be using Debian, and that is all. And so I thought, I know there's not that many people using Debian as far as being a YouTuber is concerned. Let me try that. So that's where I started. I was just like, seemed like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, there was a big time period there, like a couple years ago, where everybody was like, oh, let's take a look at the latest version of snot-nosed Linux. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, and then here's all the stuff in the application drawer that they installed, and it's the same stuff every application. Oh, it has LibreOffice in it. Like, oh goodness, I've never seen a distro with LibreOffice in it before. Tell me more. That was a hard time. The problem with I've had this. I made a whole video on that thing, so I won't go off about it too much. But the whole thing about that is like the reason why we'd all, like, I did it. Like, I will fully admit to saying I did those videos, and then because people watched them, like those were really popular videos for a long period of time. I don't know, like I know DT does more in-depth stuff, and he'll look at new distros and stuff, and I know a couple other big, like Nick at the Linux Experiment, he'll look at new releases of some things, but not even like small ones. Those are very popular for them. They do a very specific way of doing it, and they have their brand. But there was, I don't really want to call the guy out, but there was a guy who, like, literally all he did was the distro first look thing, and every single video was exactly the same. Every distro was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, even if it was just like a point release, and like it was just a thing that people did, and it was like they did it because it got views. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing something because it gets views. I've done many videos because I knew it was going to be popular. I'd have done many videos that I thought were going to be popular and did shit. But sometimes you just do things because you want other people to watch. Yeah, but that was definitely a time period. What about you, Nate? What was your reason for starting a Linux YouTube channel, or a YouTube channel in general?
Well, the first one obviously was that. It's Minecraft.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
He still has still has the swag.
Yeah, I still do. Matter of fact, I still collect all the books that come out just because. I don't know.
Do you think you're ever gonna play Minecraft like again?
I'm sure when I have kids, probably.
Okay.
And we'll probably set up a little server for them, and then they'll be wanting to play with Dad. So yeah, I'm sure. But so my channel took a different approach when it comes to Linux, because I'm not 100% focused on Linux, though everything I'm running is mostly all Linux. I noticed that there was an empty gap for people that like hardware and use Linux, because almost like every Linux and you just mentioned it, every Linux YouTube channel was like a review of this particular distro, this distro, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I want to see actual hardware. I want to see actual setups. I want to see actual, if you're a crazy person that's like soldering 3 motherboards together, I want to see that. And, building a whole new BIOS to make it work. I want to see stuff like that. And so for me, when I started my channel, I've been thinking about it for 2 years. And then I got invited to be on here, and I was like, well, I better get my button gear. And so now I'm here. I guess you can say I started from the bottom. Now I'm here.
All right. So I admire the fact that you try to do hardware, because I would, like, when I first way back when I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I was like, I want to review phones. And the hardest thing you can actually do it to get into is to review phones, because phones are fucking expensive. Like, you can't just go out and buy a new phone every 3 days because it's a new one. And in order to make a YouTube video, you have to have content. So I was like, fine, I'll just make a YouTube video about, or a YouTube channel about applications on a phone, because that'd be much cheaper. But even that is really kind of hard to do. And it's like a flooded space. Like everybody and their brother have made a YouTube channel about Android or iOS applications, right? And that, especially back in the day, I'm sure I've gotten away from it now, but there's still probably a lot of them out there. For me personally, why I started, everything leads back to this podcast. Like this is this is the reason why I've created like everything, right? I started using Linux because I wanted to create this podcast. I created a YouTube channel because this podcast existed and I needed a place to put it online that wasn't, Apple Podcasts. And initially, that's all this channel was going to be. In fact, for the first 3 months of this channel, that's all it was just like, if you go back, all you'll see are basically audio versions of this podcast. There's no video whatsoever. It was just a white, it was like my previous artwork with the Linux Cast logo, and I looked up on Google how to do an audio form over the thing. Like that was like the height of my editing. So that's the reason why. And then for whatever reason, in December of 2020, I can't blame the pandemic. For whatever reason, I decided I was going to make a video on ZimWiki. Like I don't remember why I did it. I wanted to do it. So I made a video on ZimWiki, and I was like, that was kind of fun. I had entertaining. I didn't think I was talented at it. I did not have any delusions to think that I was good at it. I still don't have any of those delusions. But it was fun. So I was like, I'll make another one. So I made a video every single day from January 1st of 2020 until like the middle of that year. And in March of March 6, 2020, DistroTube shouted me out on his channel. I was like, damn it, now I have to keep going. So also thanks, DT. I really appreciate it. I'm here because of you, man. But so that's the reason why I'm still, and it's 6 years later. It's crazy that I'm still going. So that leads me to the next question I have for you guys. How do you come up with your content? So where do you just randomly think, new window manager, or I made a script or something like that? Do you, like, for you specifically, Drew? I'll go on, again. I'm going to Drew first, but Drew, you come up with a lot of these scripts or whatever. Do you come up with scripts because you want to make videos about them, or do you do scripts and then make one? What's the kind of like the order for your video idea generation? Or
yeah, because scripts is definitely part of it. I get like locked into wanting to create something that I think is cool and hopefully helps somebody else. But more importantly, it's helping me because I like doing it. I think that automating processes for installation is something that interests me. I'm interested in automation, period. But overall, I think the script that automates some task really interests me. And so then after I'm kind of like done with that, then I will then like kind of like roll it out to the to everybody and say, here, this is what I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. But overall, I'm just kind of like, okay, well, that's an interesting thing that I learned this week. Let me throw that up on there and see if anybody else has the same need or is interested in the same thing. Like, it's like, hey, better Fox, which is basically a user.js file that you can use to harden your Firefox experience. And that was cool. And Nextcloud, and how do I install that on a Ubuntu server? And that's cool. And, to your point, to look at the last 3 years and look at, all the installation videos that I've done. More importantly, I think than anything else, I've just wanted to, I just wanted to do something that I thought was either beneficial to me or beneficial maybe. And then because of it was beneficial to me, I was hoping it was beneficial to somebody else. The one, and we talked about this before you and I met, the one video that has way more views than anything else is an installation video for Btrfs. Hands down, like triple, if not quadruple any other video, because I wanted to learn how to do that. And I wanted to know, and I thought that maybe it was helpful to somebody else. That's bottom line. I just think it's fun. And if I'm not interested, I just won't put it. And that's why I actually don't have like a schedule either. If I don't have anything to say, then I'm just not going to say it, you know?
The Btrfs thing is really interesting because do you guys remember Hermano?
Yeah.
Like he made a Arch Linux install 5 times a week. And like half of the stuff was like, here's how to install Arch Linux with Btrfs. And like, that stuff was really interesting, but I do not. I know he got another job, but it doesn't surprise me he got kind of burnt out on it because he was doing the same thing literally over and over again. And while it was very helpful for a lot of people, like it just like wow, that's very dedicated. Nate, what about you? How do you come up with your video ideas and stuff like that?
You want the actual truth?
Yeah, don't lie. I mean,
I look around my office, see what I haven't recorded. And then I make a video about it and talk about it. But so on the flip side, part of my channel is also like, we're not going to live here forever. And so in a way, YouTube is a place that like I can share the passion that I have with technology, and it will technically kind of be left on there until the channel dies and they completely delete everything, but at least be up there for a while. And I also have a lot of interest in, like, I'll see something cool, and if I can afford it, and if it's really cheap, then I'll buy it and make a video about it because it's anything hardware related. I like tinkering, I guess is my words.
We had no clue that you enjoyed monitors, Nate. We had no clue about that. It was a complete and utter surprise.
Yeah, I should actually make a video about monitors since I have so many, but
the fact that you haven't is an utter travesty. I mean, it's like literally the biggest criminal thing you've ever done. Like how dare you?
So but I do have an idea though that I think will kind of go along with it. Is that I'm trying to get some Linux people to send me pictures of their actual setup. I don't want to see your rice. I want to see your actual setup. Because I want to see what people actually use. Because, a lot of people have good ideas. And I think it'd be really cool to share that. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm a Linux user, but I also have all this cool hardware and tech and whatever. So
that sounds like a good idea. That's one thing that I've never. I know this sounds really weird, guys, but I'm not a social person. It amazes me to this day that I had the utter intestinal fortitude to put myself on camera. Like literally the first few videos I was not putting my face out there. There was like an 80% chance I was going to be a VTuber. You know what I mean? One of those guys who just had an avatar on screen. And I 100% understand that mentality. It takes a lot of courage to put your face out there on the internet for other people to see, and it's not just like there's 2 different types of courage there. Like putting the content out there, like all of us do, it is courageous because it exposes you to people who are anonymous on the internet. There's a lot of great people on the internet. There's a lot of assholes. and it's just the way that it is, right? But there's another part of courage, is like just showing your face on the internet is hard, because this is actually us. Like we're not wearing AI glamours. Like there's no like we're not actually looking other than what we are. So it surprises me to myself to this day that I actually ever decided I was going to do that. And so, and then to go back to answer the question, how do I come up with my ideas? I have no clue, man. I like literally, I will be sitting, usually, this is going to be way too much information. I'll be sitting on the toilet and like, oh my God, that's a video idea. And
Yeah.
I put
TMI.
it. I know.
TMI.
But I'm telling you, there's or taking a shower. Like for whatever reason, the bathroom is the best place for Linux ideas. I don't know why. Or I'll be, very rarely will I be sitting here at my computer, doing work like for my main job, and I'll think of something to record. It's usually when I'm out and about doing something different, and it'll just pop into my head like, oh my goodness, that way thing. I've had problems with those because you guys know this, and you guys have known me for a while. My memory is shit. And many times I have come up with an idea like, oh my God, this is a great idea. Nobody's ever recorded it before. I'm going to record it. And then I realize I recorded it 6 months before. Like I made that video.
Yeah.
I've done that multiple times. In fact, just recently I did this I recorded a whole video about 10 things Plasma could do better. I've made the video twice before. I looked after I recorded. I really got to get better at looking before I start recording. You make notes. Yeah, I have Notion.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like these are all my YouTube ideas. It comes in spurts. Like I'll sit down and like throw 10 of them in here. Then I'll sit down and throw 10 more in here. Like over time, I guess it just builds.
Yeah.
But it comes in spurts. Like maybe if I'm out like doing woodworking or something, or if I'm just out and about, and all of a sudden I pick up a piece of, roast and I put it in my buggy and I'm like, oh crap.
I think that's a fair thing that people a lot of times when you're brainstorming, or if and you're in that mode, because we've done entire podcasts on note taking, for example. We will, if you sit down and you say, okay, let's be creative, and then do it like solid for like 30 minutes, you can really kind of like come up with some stuff. I always tend to want to like set aside some time for that kind of like activity, because I think that overall we, it's kind of like a domino effect. You get rolling and you get like better ideas that way.
And a lot of times one idea will spawn another idea, and then it will just kind of. I'm sorry, Drew. I was not laughing at you, but the entire chat has devolved into toilet humor.
I know. I was looking at that as well.
Like I had to laugh, dude. I'm a dude. I had to laugh.
That's how constitutional laws are passed.
But bump.
All right. So the next question I have to ask for you guys is, how do you deal with criticism? Like, I know I'm gonna get more of this because my channel's a little bit bigger, but even when I was 10,000 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, there were still people out there who said things that a lot of people are really nice about, like, oh, I just disagree with this. Like my latest review, which I'm surprised Drew didn't comment on.
I watched the whole thing through, which is what you said right from the very beginning.
Well, I thought there was gonna be a snarky comment around it, but the thing is, like, in that video, there's a lot of people like, yeah, I just don't agree with this. Like, and like, why did you compare these two? Like, and everyone who says, why did you compare these two, is like, you didn't watch all the way through, did you? Because I said at the very end, Debian is a very good distro, and are legit. Hell, I think I said it at the beginning. There are legitimate reasons to use Debian, and I would, in fact, I think Debian is one of the things that I could use after I'm done with OpenSUSE. I could find myself using it. I'd be very, very happy there. But I wanted to let people. That's beside the point. It's like there were a lot of people in that comment section that was like, I disagree with this, and I have that a lot. There's also people like, you're fucking stupid. There was that whole NixOS fiasco a few weeks ago where I literally got death threats, telling me to kill myself.
That's crazy.
Right. So the
is
question I
crazy.
have to ask you guys, how do you deal with that aspect of being a YouTuber? Nate, we'll go to you first this time.
I mostly ignore it. I'm just gonna be honest. There's sometimes there's one that will get me, especially if it's something that I really know. And I remember one time somebody was arguing about me with DaVinci Resolve. Don't do that ever, because I really know it, and what they were saying was wrong. But at the same time, there's a lot of times I'll just open my phone because I have it on the YouTube Studio, and I'll see the comment and I'll just bust out laughing because it's just like, okay, buddy, great, you got me. Okay, so I guess I'm more lighthearted. I don't know. Trolls don't bother me.
What about you, Drew?
This is going to sound very Pollyanna-ish. I haven't had that many problems, frankly.
You're just too likable, is what you're trying to say.
No, I mean, and the one or two times that I've questioned something, I actually asked you about. So I think you kind of like, as a, even though you're 20 years younger than me, it's kind of a mentor type, deal where you've had your YouTube channel a lot longer than I have. And I went and it had, actually, the one time I remember specifically, there was a political aspect to the comment. And it was one of those things where I was just like, I don't even know how to handle this. This is stupid. So do I remove it? And how do I deal with this kind of thing going forward? One of the things that, and I know Matt always says, pro tip, you have certain control over comments. And if there is a specific keyword in there for you to eliminate comments, take advantage of that. Whether it's just, terrible language, or if it's political in nature or something, like, just take advantage of using filters to get certain comments out so you never have to see them.
Yeah. I 1000% agree. And just to go on top of that tip, in the back, if you're going to do this, go into that back end and put your address, your street address, your city in there. That way, in case somebody does happen to find out where you live and they want to dox you, YouTube will automatically just delete that comment. Like, it will be gone. Nobody will ever see it. It doesn't mean you're not going to get doxxed on some other thing. And frankly, I don't give a. There are not so many Matthew Webbers out there in Michigan that somebody probably couldn't find me if they wanted to. But this way, at least the malicious people who might be able to find your address somewhere, they can't just pop it on the thing, or they find your phone number. Like, I put my phone number in there too. Like, if somebody has my phone number and they want to get back at me by posting it in the YouTube comments, so everybody has it, they can do it. It will automatically get deleted. I'm pretty sure I learned that from Mental Outlaw. Because he's had some problems with doxing and stuff in the past too. So he just pops that right in the filters or whatever, and it just can never be there. But there are other ones like, and this is gonna make me sound stupid, but I hate political nonsense in my comments. Like, every time I make a Firefox video, every single other comment is like, oh my god, they're so woke. They're so woke. First off, what the fuck does that word even mean? Who made up that word? I want to know, because I want to slap them fucking silly. That's the stupidest fucking word in the world. And I don't care what your views on that word, like the actual thing are. I don't give a shit. But leave it out of my comments, because I don't want to know. And whether it's left, right, center, I want all the political stuff away from me as much as possible. And I know some people are like, oh, that's just naive. Everything's political. I'm not political, okay? I want to mess around with bash scripts all day long. You know what I mean? I want to try to fix this stupid Resolve bug that's fucking causing me to use Windows. I want to do that. I want to make sure my fucking camera, which I spent so damn much money on, will stop autofocusing for no damn reason. Those are things that I want to do. That's not political. Okay. And if you're going to come into my comments on a video that I'm talking about where it has nothing to do with politics and you're going to get in there and get into political stuff, I'm probably going to delete your thing. So I put the word woke and I put a couple right wing and a couple left wing things people are always saying in that filter. And if you say that and your stuff's getting deleted, like it's just getting deleted. I'm not putting up with you. That has no go leave that shit on someone else's channel, not mine. Like just I don't care. Like, and I don't, like I said, I don't care if something is woke or not woke or what's your ideas on it. I just don't want to deal with it. Leave me a technical comment. You know,
I know why. I think I know why I'm so like don't even care about the trolls. Period. Because I'm a gamer, and if you ever been into a actual game, especially in the voice chat.
If you play Call of Duty and you know that there's like a 4-year-old kid who can kick your ass in every single game, he's just saying your mother is a big ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
So after a while, you just gotta tune it out. And I'm kind of like you. Like I could care less. I like hardware. I like playing around with different things, and you know, and like I just want to make some bash scripts and put them on my floppy drive to you know.
He's gonna use that,
them, so.
Drew. He's gonna use that as a prop every single episode.
It's a badge of honor, is what it is.
We're gonna have to have a bingo slot just for Nate shows his floppy drive off.
Hey, by the way, you want to use Linux? Well, it's still supported, so just let you know.
Yeah. Don't use floppy drives unless to back up your system. You're probably gonna need more than one. I'm just gonna say you're gonna need more than one. All right.
On the plus side, though, you know, I feel like over the last 3 years, the friends that have been forged and the overall community that has been really, really supportive has been my favorite part of doing any of these videos. You know, whether you're helping people, which was the intent, but the friendships forged and the community camaraderie and just chit chatting and stuff like that has been outstanding and well worth any kind of like troll behavior and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, completely agree. Like the vast majority of people, really good people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So there's like 2,500 people in my Discord. I don't even think we need moderators at this point. I mean, it's just very rarely do we get it. Like Nate's a mod in there. Like very rarely do we come across someone who's like, that guy needs to go. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's like maybe once every couple months, and maybe even not even that. Usually it's just us making fun of people who get automodded because they keep saying the F word over and over again and can't realize that that's just not allowed. like the number of times they've just had their thing. Go ahead, Nate.
Because just be aware, this trigger finger is ready for the ban hammer, just in case.
Yeah.
It's always loaded.
I think we've banned like 6 people in the entire 4 or 5 years since it started. Like it's just it's just not.
We've actually unbanned some people and they came back.
Yeah, usually if we do ban someone and they message us saying like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to do that," you know, come back. Then there were a couple that would just like say, no, I'm sorry, like we don't want you, like you just can't handle it. But most people are just good people, you know, and they just want to have, you know, fun talking about Linuxy nerd stuff, and I think that's great, right? And you're right, Drew. Without the YouTube channel for all of us, really, I mean, we wouldn't. I mean, none of us would be here today. I mean, really. I mean, if Drew didn't have a YouTube channel, I wouldn't have known to ask him for the podcast. You know, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, Nate wouldn't be able to edit it. So you know, I mean, YouTube bringing people together.
It's true. It's true.
That's the most positive spin on YouTube you've ever heard in your life.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, it's more to those you have to like cut off all the fat, and then you're left with the little piece of steak that's there.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. And if you don't know, I like beef.
I was gonna say there had to be a cow joke there somewhere, you know. No, okay. I'm not making fun of Nate because he has cows. He just has cows, okay? He's from Oklahoma. Of course he has cows. It's literally in the state constitution. If you want to be in the state, you have to wear a cowboy hat or you have to have cows. One or the
Or
other.
both.
You can have both. If you really want to be Oklahoman, you have to have cows, but or you know,
Yeah. It says we moo, sucker.
that's horrible. You're fired. That's just horrendous. All right. Anyways, anything else on this? Drew, I know you always make a little outline for stuff you want to talk about. Is there anything on your list there that we didn't talk about that you'd like to?
Actually, I didn't. I was gonna. This is the one time. The only thing that I wrote for this podcast was the Fox.
Those are great.
I have one.
Go ahead, Nate.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to do YouTube, it does help a lot if you really plan your channel. And what I mean is, if you're going to make a video, actually plan out like the notes and just, you don't have to like put a whole huge list and do a whole full script, but at least like have some highlight points. That way, when you're talking or whatever, you can go back and look at it real quick and remember. And I know Matt's just one of those that turns it on and rants.
I'm listening to this like you're speaking English, but I don't understand the words in the order that you're putting them in.
but it does help though, like it, because I'll write notes. Well, when I say write notes, I mean I will literally write notes, and I'll have them to the side, and then I can look at them if I'm like making a video and trying to remember exactly what I want to hit and whatever. So
I think that's spot on, Nate, because I kind of do that as well because, like I said, I don't edit. You know, I just kind of like piece everything together, and so if I don't have like a game plan going in, then it gets like progressively harder to actually accomplish anything. So that's spot on.
Now Matt's turn.
All right, so I am notorious for not being able to script anything, and despite my eternal love for everything note-taking, and you guys know that I love note-taking applications, I could make a... Drew, would you like to do a podcast that's only about note-taking applications with me?
It would be my pleasure.
So see, I'm just saying, we would have a ball. I don't know how long the podcast would last. It would probably eventually run out of content, but we could probably do several years probably worth of content. Like if we just did once a month, we could do a few years. That being said, I don't take my YouTube videos hardly at all ever, and when I do, I swear to God, this is how I do it. There's sticky notes here, and this is from one of the videos I just recorded on a music player. You guys can actually read it, but it has all the key bindings that I needed to talk about during the video. And the most hilarious thing, and I swear to God this is true, I had to go back and record because I didn't look at the fucking note. I made the note, didn't look at it, so I had to redo it. And this one here is a list of all the things OpenSUSE does. I don't even know what this one's for. It has here's this list: Zipper, Yast, Installer, Package Manager, Forums, Pacman, not the Arch thing, but the repo from OpenSUSE, OBS, ISOs, Community, Drama, and NVIDIA. I'm assuming that these are things that OpenSUSE could do better. By the way, OpenSUSE killing Yast. It's going away, which is actually kind of sad.
Makes it pointless.
Shut up, Nate. Nobody asked you. You're fired again. I swear. You like it. You like a distro that just happens to be different than everybody else's, and all you do is get shit about it. Granted, I have talked a lot of shit, so it's probably
me and Drew is on the same page. I mean, Drew's on the base of my distro. My distro is based upon his.
So what you're saying is that your distro is also pointless, and we also just use Debian, right?
Unless you want to use Resolve properly.
It really all does come down to the fucking program. God damn it. All right.
I do have one last point, and I
ahead.
just want to make it quick. So the last one I had in my notes was, when you start making your first video, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be good. You're going to have issues. Just use what you have. Don't walk out and spend a ton of money to get all this equipment. It comes in time. So a lot of the knowledge that I have was from making like music and also doing Minecraft videos. So I already knew a lot of editing skills and stuff. So, but I had to learn over several years. So whatever you have currently, just use it. So like Kdenlive's free, use it. If you want to use Audacity to record a separate audio, use it. It's all free. So use what you got.
Just on top
I
of
wanted
that,
to
go ahead, Nate. Or go ahead,
mention
Drew.
one more thing other than, Nate uses uses Resolve, but he's saying Caden Live is free. You should use it. If just so we're clear, the one that I use in Terminal is called MKV Toolnix. It's a GUI editor. It's like actually MKV Toolnix -GUI if you want to install it in Debian. I don't even use the whole thing. I just use one package from that called MKV Merge, and that's how I actually string my videos together. But Matt actually used that as a Nuggie of the week at some point. MKV Toolnix.
I did. It's because it allowed me to rip my DVDs. And that's what I was doing. A couple things. First off, on your point, Nate, and just to everybody out there, if you have any doubts that that's absolutely 100% true, go back and look at my first videos. Go back and look at the first videos like MKBHD, Linus Tech Tips, all of them. Every single one of them. Like, it doesn't. Mr. Beast, if you want to go back and look at his first videos, every single person started off exactly like everyone else. Their first videos were terrible. They were usually using their phone to make their videos, and especially if you've been doing this for a long time, phone cameras were atrocious, like really, really bad. So that's the way a lot of people started, and you don't need. I would be happy with a phone camera at this point because the camera I keep buying is terrible. And Drew, I have a question for you. How did you come across the whole idea of doing it that way? Like I've never seen anybody really do video editing in that way before. Like, did you find that somewhere else, or did you just know that existed?
I guess I'm gonna guess that because I don't really have that good a recollection as to how I did. I was like, okay, let me use OBS to like record this segment. And so it recorded in MKV format. So at some point I just said, let me just record the next segment and I'll try to put them into an editor and like string them together and stuff like that. And then I was like, isn't there a better way? Can I just do this in command line? And there was, I found like some obscure like Reddit or just a Phoronix type thing where it just said, use MKV Merge and use this command line and string them together like that. And I was like, let me try that. And it worked out like I had 11 segments. So 1.mkv through 11.mkv the other day. And when I ran the command in my terminal, it actually like combined everything and resized it to the point where it was about the same size as one of the segments. So it's like phenomenally good and like streamlined. And yes, I actually read someone's comment. You can use FFmpeg, and I have to actually clip. If it's like too long, I like added something. It's like, oh, I don't want to redo that whole thing. I use FFmpeg sometimes just to like trim like a little bit off of there just so that it streams better. But overall, it's just the simplest way for me to do something that doesn't require like hours of editing. I just don't have the time, and I don't want to do it. That's the fact. If my videos suffer because of it, I just don't care, frankly.
I don't think anybody thinks they do. The other question I have is, have you scripted the process of you doing it? Like, can you just like feed can you point a bash script to a directory where all your clips are, and it just does it for you?
Yeah, I haven't done that, so that's a really good suggestion. Though I've never.
Just says good idea.
Yeah, it is a really good idea.
Can you just? I was thinking. I was like, how would if I were going to do that? How would I do it? I was like, well, I would just create a for or a while loop or something like that, and just have it read through everything that's in the thing, and then matches .mkv. And granted, it'd have to be you'd have to figure out how to do it in order, so it'd have to make sure it's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then whatever. But yeah, we're gonna create a bash script right here online. It's great. Yeah. All right. Anything else that you guys want to talk about before we jump into the nuggies? We've been going for an hour and 9, so we actually about usual. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the nuggies of the week. So this is our section where we get to basically tell about things that we found that we found very interesting. So it can be an app, it can be a trick, or it can be a tip, or whatever. It can be basically anything. We just want to share something with you guys. So, Nate, your nuggie of the week.
So I recently, when I say recently, I literally ordered it yesterday. It got here today. It is a newer 22-inch Magic Arm with Desk C clamp. And what this bad boy will do is solve all the editing or all the video shooting problems that I'll have. So this solves everything. It has the phone stand, so I can use the phone with my actual lapel mic. It has a C clamp, so it'll actually clamp onto the desk, and it has multiple functions. So like if you put it around a pole, these things will come back and you can pole mount it. So this is going to solve everything. And it's got like so many different ways that you can turn it and stuff. It's pretty awesome. So I'm pretty excited to finally get this in, which means that I'll be able to finish the video that I was working on and start my new videos.
Good
Cool.
tip. Another thing we didn't talk about, and we don't need to talk about, is just what we do when a video fails. Like it either doesn't do well, or it didn't turn on the audio when we were supposed to. We probably should cover that, but that's fine.
Delete.
Yeah. Drew's like, damn it, that 6-hour video still bugs me.
It does. I'm salty.
RF.
It's just, what did you say, Nate?
Is it REM RF? I always get it backwards.
RM
Oh, yeah,
dash RF,
RF.
Yeah.
Stupid dyslexia. I understand
Yeah.
that shit. I did it the opposite way today. Anyways, Drew, your nuggie of the week.
All right, this is a little bit on the long side, but let me preface this nuggie with a little bit of backstory, because last week we did the Suckless podcast, and we talked a little bit about ST, and I walked away because I even mentioned it in the podcast that I was like, man, I should try to like patch ST a little bit more to my liking. And I did. I used about 7 or 8 patches for ST. And I wanted to, in my DWM, I have 2 terminals that I use. One, I was using Tilix in Quake mode. Okay. So that I can kind of use a separate keybind and have it kind of, open and then basically kind of disappear like a scratch pad. Okay, so I thought to myself, well, ST's already installed, why do I need Tilix? So let me make my Tilix, ST's already installed, why do I need Tilix? And so I went ahead and thought, let me just try to use ST rather in Quake mode or something similar to that. All right. So in order for me to do that, I used an application called T-Drop, and it's a simple install. You get it from GitHub, and basically what it does is it drops down or uses or makes it seem like a scratch pad for terminals. And there's other kind of functionality there as well, but it was a simple install. And now I have a keybind that actually opens up ST in a kind of Quake-like, basically. So
I've used T-Drop before, and it's cool for like if you want a scratch pad in like GNOME or Plasma, right? At least before Wayland was a thing, because I think it's Xorg only. The question I have is, you don't use a scratch pad patch for DWM?
I do, but in this situation, I'm using the scratch pads only for Ranger and Pulse Mixer, and that's it. So I wanted it to be a little bit different. So I'm using T-Drop as just in basically Quake mode.
Makes sense. I have scratch pads for literally. I have 12 scratch pads. So I overdo it just a little bit. My entire bottom row of my keyboard has a scratch pad attached to it, like every single one of them, and some of them have 2 with a shift key. So I'm a little obsessed. I love scratch pads. All right, so mine is an application. It's a self-hosted application called Commentario. Now, I have been blogging on my own personal blog for the last month or so. I challenged myself to blog every single day for a month, and I have like 3 days left. And I've done pretty good, and I just wanted to do it. And I use Ghost as the hosting platform, but it has its own built-in comments. I didn't like them. And I used Discuss for a little while. And if you guys know anything about Discuss comments, those things are a privacy effing nightmare. You have to have an account in order to sign in. They do allow anonymous, but it's not really anonymous. And they have advertisements. It's really, really bad. But they're easy to set up. That's why I chose them. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Ghost, which I didn't know I was going to at the beginning, but I'm going to do that. So I need a good commenting system that is self-hosted and has the ability to be private and whatever. And there are a few of these things out there that you can use, and the one that I settled on is something called Commentario. It's Comentario. I think that's how you spell it. It's a comment but without the double M, and it's pretty easy to set up as a Docker container. So Docker nerds rejoice. It's very, very easy to set up, and you just embed it into your page with a couple lines of code. And I'm actually running that on my home lab server. Like it's not running on the server. Like the VPS hosts the blog, so that's always up. But the comments or whatever are hosted on the computer that's sitting underneath this desk, and it just works. It's very, very cool. It has like voting of comments, so you can vote things up and down. The author of the blog post or whatever can star things. It has moderation tools. It can tie into things like a Kismet, so it can like do spam detection and stuff. It's really, really good. So if you run a blog and you want to have comments on it, Commentario, really, really good. Like so easy. I could set it up. So like I've had some failures. I should, if we'd done a what have you done lately kind of thing today, one of the things I would have talked about was trying to figure out how to get self-hosted blog or website analytics up and running. And I failed spectacularly on that over and over again over the last 24 hours. And then someone on Mastodon recommended, it's called, what is it? Sorry, I should actually look this up. It's called Picapods. Drew, have you ever heard of Picapods?
No.
I was actually, when I first heard about it, I was like, this is basically a self-hosted, containerized VPS, but just for one application. So you create a pod. In this case, for me, it was for an analytics thing, but it has a whole bunch of things like Gatia and a whole bunch of stuff like that, right? And you just select how much like RAM or CPU and storage you want, and for like $3 a month, you can host this one application. It has 100% uptime, does all the updates for you. And I got that up and running with blog or website analytics. And that was just like, it just did it. It was like, this is effing amazing. And it was like, I put $50 in the account. It'll run it for like the next 4 years. For like $50. It was really, really cheap. It was really cool. When I first saw it and I didn't know what applications they offer, I was like, Drew, why the hell didn't we try this with Nextcloud? They don't offer Nextcloud. If they tried Nextcloud for like $3 and then like the S3 bucket on the end, that would have been good.
Yeah.
It would have been very cheap, but they don't offer Nextcloud. Anyways, I think that's it for us. So we are going to, I have a couple housekeeping things. So the first one is that this is actually the podcast for the week. There's going to be no editing done for the video this week because I don't know if you noticed, I've been a little ranty. It's because the fucking stupid computers hate me and I should use Windows. There's something going on with my camera. I got a new camera, and for whatever reason, the switch between there has messed something up. I don't know what. I can't have Audacity and OBS running at the same time. I don't know why. Well, they'll run, but the camera or whatever will glitch out. And I was like, well, maybe it's just a new camera. So I hooked my Brio back up, did the exact same thing. I actually have another 4K camera here that kind of looks like the Elgato thing. Did the exact same thing. So I'm like fucking swimming in cameras, and they're doing the exact same thing. So I turned Audacity off, and OBS works fine. I don't get it. But anyways, the point of me talking about that is that the live stream is going to stay up today. Actually, I should actually make sure that that's going to be remain to be true. I don't want to unlist it, but anyways, the live stream will stay up. There will be an audio version coming out on Saturday. I'll edit that, so be prepared for it to not be very edited at all. I mean, because I'm not going to do as good a job as Nate does. I'm just not interested in doing that anymore. Nate is the podcast editor, and he will remain to do so. Please don't leave me, Nate. Please, for the love of God, don't make me edit this thing. I swear to God, it will end. It will be the end of the podcast. I'm not doing it. Anyways, because I just say way too often, I can't do it. Anyways, So that's one thing I know. I said while talking about ums. It's inception. Okay. But anyways, the thing is, I've lost my train of thought is the problem here. It's like I've completely lost where I was going. So anyways, the live stream will stay up. That's the video podcast. There won't be a video podcast on Saturday, just audio. Okay. Also lug on Thursday evening. If you're watching this live and you want to join the Linux user group, do so 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. Join the Discord or watch me on Mastodon or watch the YouTube channel. You can figure out how to join. We'll have a good time. We do that twice a month. The other one's early and comes around on the second Thursday of the month, 11:15 a.m. Eastern time. I got the times right. I should at least get credit for that. After that entire nonsense about 30 seconds ago. Yeah, stop with the golf claps, Nate.
Golf clap.
Asshole. You guys know how I do endings, right? This is how I do endings. It's like I get to the nuggies, it works fine. My brain says, we're done, I'm out of here. You're on your own. And I just can't do it anymore. I do the same thing in my videos. Anyways, contact information, email at thelinuxcast.org is the best way to get in contact with us. That is the email address. You can also head on over to the website, which is thelinuxcast.org. You'll find all of our contact information there. It's linked at the bottom. You can find Nate on YouTube, youtube.com/NatePicks Tech World.
Tech World.
Yeah, I'll get it eventually when I don't have to study it.
I think
that's exactly what you should do. You should get a shirt that has it on there. I'll never forget. That's exactly. Thank you, Drew, for doing that. I'll forget your. If you ever come in here with a shirt that doesn't have it on there, I'm gonna forget what your channel name is. I swear to God. Anyways,
Yeah, but Drew has that YouTube money. I don't.
I will.
You know how many? Okay, so we just did a podcast on YouTube. I have made $100 in 3 years. Just saying, $100 in 3 years.
It would make me feel like bragging if I told you how much I've made. So
I know.
and like it's not like I'm not a millionaire or anything. I made a couple $1,000. It's great. Actually, I don't even know how much in total I've done. I haven't looked. But anyways, just seriously, I will make you a T-shirt just so we should put it on a hat so I can't remember if I can remember. Anyways, Drew is Just a Guy Linux, just like the shirt says. He's on YouTube. He does live streams now because he's so Gen Z about all this stuff. Videos. He's just too good for videos, is what we're trying to say. Anyways, I'm really upset that he always live streams at dinner time, and it pisses me off because I want to watch. Because there's a good chance if Drew's live streaming, he's installing Debian. And if I miss it, how I'm gonna know how to install Debian? I watch every single one of his Debian installs. So go give both these guys a subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to LinuxCast, youtube.com/LinuxCast, do that right now. I swear you won't regret it. And if you do, you can just leave. It's easy to unsubscribe as it is to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. So subscribe to all of us. Subscribe to every Linux YouTuber you come across. I was gonna. There was a section there where I was gonna say who inspired you to be a YouTuber for Linux, but I didn't get to it. But anyways, I think that's where we'll end it because Matt's getting rambling. This must be time for his bedtime. So that is it. And Nate's making fun of me again, and he's like, thank God I don't have to edit this shit. Thank God I don't have to edit this shit. Thank God I don't have to edit. Anyways, that's it for this one. We'll see you guys later. See you next week.
I was gonna say somebody give him the penguin pillow so he can go to sleep.
I need one.